Honorable Speaker, I rise to provide an update on the recent Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on what's called the Beijing 30 Plus Review, which was held in Thailand later last month, Honorable Speaker. This significant event brought together over 1,200 delegates, including ministers, senior officials, women's rights organizations, civil society and development partners from across the Asia-Pacific region to assess our progress and challenges in implementing the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action over the past 30 years. Every 5 years, Honorable Speaker, this review is conducted, and it remains one of the most comprehensive frameworks for advancing gender equality across the globe. Next year, Honorable Speaker, we celebrate the 30th year of the Beijing Platform for Action. And so as part of the build-up to this celebration next year, each country is to present its review report on the status of gender equality in each of their countries. For Fiji, we had successfully compiled our report, and earlier this year, Cabinet endorsed our review report. At the conference, Honorable Speaker, Fiji reaffirmed its dedication to the 12 critical areas of concern outlined in the platform. And notably, sir, this Beijing Platform for Action was adopted under the leadership of our current Prime Minister, the Honorable Sitiveni Rabuka, which in the areas of concern include, to name a few, women's health, women's education, women's economic participation, women's political empowerment, and of course, the elimination of violence against women and children. As such, Honorable Speaker, with alignments to the critical areas of concern, Fiji was able to participate in emerging issues, which were not there 30 years ago, but it is certainly a rising trend and an area of concern in the review of the Beijing Platform for Action. And that is the issue of technology-facilitated gender-based violence or online violence. Honorable Speaker, for Fiji, we shared the data which was given by the Fiji's Online Safety Commission, where it indicated that 62% of women are experiencing online violence compared to 38% of men. In this context, Honorable Speaker, we shared how Fiji is making progress as well in implementing our National Action Plan to prevent violence against women and girls, or the Fiji NAP, as well as the forthcoming Women's Economic Empowerment National Action Plan, and the work we're currently doing to gender mainstream across government, ministries and agencies in terms of institutional capacity development, or as we may commonly refer to specifically gender-responsive budgeting across the ministries and agencies. Honorable Speaker, I'd like to just briefly share some of the key activities and milestones shared at the conference that Fiji has been able to achieve, especially as we are currently in the 16 days of activism period to end violence against women and girls. The first, Honorable Speaker, is the engagement with the Great Council of Chiefs. I wish to acknowledge and commend the Great Council of Chiefs, especially the Chair, Ratuvilyame Seruvakula, for prioritizing violence against women and children. It's truly significant that they have prioritized this and put this on their agenda, because the traditional setting is a key setting to look at the root causes of violence against women and children, especially emphasizing on building respectful relationships between girls and boys. We appreciate the collaboration between the Ministry of Itaukei Affairs and the Itaukei Affairs Board in reinforcing the efforts to create safe spaces, Honorable Speaker, across our villages and our settlements. I am even more grateful, Honorable Speaker, for the commitment of government with the very recent amendment to the Itaukei Affairs Great Council of Chiefs regulations, which spells out the Great Council of Chiefs mandate. Honorable Speaker, just this week, The amendment has been made to Regulation 14. The amendment has been made to Regulation 14, in paragraph E specifically, which states that the Great Council of Chiefs is to advocate and set strategic directions to address violence against women and girls. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, is the faith-based setting. We've already started working with faith leaders and faith-based organizations on a communication campaign which they have launched during the 16 days of activism. This campaign aims to foster awareness and drive behavioral change within our faith settings. I wish to commend the House of Sarah coordinator, the Reverend Serema Lomaloma, and her team for their impactful video titled, "My Faith Says No to Rape." This collaboration with faith leaders in the ministry, as well as SPC, Pacific Women Lead, and Australian Aid, highlights the power of collective advocacy to end violence against women and girls in Fiji. Number 3, Honorable Speaker, is we have conducted a gender analysis of the Fiji Online Safety Act. The ministry with the UNFPA undertook this gender analysis to address technology-facilitated gender-based violence, which is a growing concern in Fiji. And this analysis has identified gaps in prevention, protection, and reporting mechanisms for women and children and provides actionable recommendations. The findings will be presented during our Members of Parliament retreat and will inform future legislative review and actions. Very grateful, Honourable Speaker, to UNFPA for this partnership. Number 4, I will be convening, Honourable Speaker, to coincide with the 16 days of activism, a forum for young women aged 18 to 25 years old on the 5th of December. This is to gather insights from our young women on how gender-based violence or how violence online affects their lives. This forum will provide a platform where they can share their experiences, in particular on their online challenges, seeking their perspectives on necessary protections and responses. The outcomes of this discussion will be documented as well, will be presented at our Members of Parliament retreat in this month. And it will be presented by one of their own peers. This direct engagement, Honourable Speaker, ensures that we are capturing the voices of our young people, especially our young women who are suffering greatly from online violence. The 5th, Honourable Speaker, is what is called a National Community Attitude Survey. Starting in January with the technical support from UNICEF, we will roll out a national survey to examine society's attitudes towards women and children and the need to be able to create key messages for an aggressive communications campaign to target those attitudes that are causing violence and to be able to help in change of behavior of these attitudes. This survey will not just be talking to women and girls, as has been done conventionally to date, Honourable Speaker, but will also include our men and boys, talking to our men and boys. Number 6, Honourable Speaker, is enhancing responses to victims of and survivors of violence when they present themselves to our Fiji police force. Throughout the Fiji, as we know, Honourable Speaker, that through the Fiji NAP, we are really trying to look at prevention of violence before it starts, and not just response. What we've done as part of 16 days of activism is that the ministry has partnered with the Fiji Women's Crisis Center, where we have been conducting awareness sessions or refresher courses with the Fiji police force in terms of strengthening the implementation of the services that they provide to victims who present as well as survivors of violence. Honourable Speaker, this is what the Fiji NAP represents. Collective effort by all players, and I wish to acknowledge the continued support and technical expertise of the NAP Secretariat as well as Fiji Police Force and the criminal justice system as well, Honourable Speaker. I also wish to thank the Government of Australia for their generous financial support and technical support for the NAP GBV. Moving forward, Honorable Speaker, I'm excited and committed to forging these partnerships in making 2025 hopefully a transformative year, particularly in violence prevention and response. This will mean, of course, continuing to collaborate with our partners and stakeholders and will involve strengthening partnerships with our organizations like UNFPA, UNICEF, UNESCAP, UN Women, and Women Deliver. Honorable Speaker, Fiji at the conference in Bangkok had the opportunity to chair the conference on the final day, culminating the adoption of the report on the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on the Beijing Plus 30 review, as well as the closing ceremony. Honorable Speaker, 5 years ago, my predecessor, Honorable Mary Rakwita, chaired the very same conference, but the selection of Fiji, Honorable Speaker, to chair these regional conferences shows Fiji's leadership in the Pacific, in Asia, and to the world, and underscores our commitment in empowering women throughout our region. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the Asia-Pacific Ministerial Conference on the review of Beijing Platform for Action has provided a renewed momentum, a renewed commitment, and reinforcing our collective commitment to gender equality and women's empowerment. Our active participation in the conference and the discussions have been significant and beneficial. I would like to extend my gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister for his leadership, and also to Cabinet and to government, and of course the House, for your continued support as well as encouraging the implementation of the NAP-GBV, since it certainly is a bipartisan effort, as it had begun from the previous government in developing the NAP-GBV, as well as now our turn to implement it effectively. Because it is only together, Honorable Speaker, that we can protect and advance the rights and well-beings of all members of society, not just women and girls, our boys as well, our men, our persons with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups that we are charged with. Hopefully, Honorable Speaker, will continue to carry on to strive for a more just and equitable Fiji.
Thank you, Honorable Lynda Tabuya, for your statement.